Hi everyone, this is Chris, also known as That French Bloke. In this video I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about this camera, a Mamiya RZ67. I'll tell you more after this. This camera, the Mamiya RZ67, was released in 1981. It's a successor of the famous Mamiya RB67. What does the name mean? Well, I have no clue. Other than the fact that 67 is referring to the size of the negative. It gives you, on a 100 film, it gives you a negative of 6 cm by 7 cm, like the RB67. In the RB67, the RB stands for rotating back, because you can move the back, you can turn the back so that you can move from portrait to landscape mode without having to moving the camera itself, which is when you're having a Viewfinder, it's not possible. But for the new release, they called it RZ67. I have no clue what the Z stands for. They could have gone for something like RB67 but no, they didn't. Funnily enough, there are three versions of the RZ67, this one being the first one. So you have the RZ67, you have the RZ67 II, which have some slight improvement, especially in the electronic part. And then you have the RZ672D, which have improvement in order to be used with a digital back. That version was released in 2004, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a camera that's been out for a long time, and that's not that rare. It was a staple for lots of wedding photographers, all sorts of professional photographers, and even enthusiasts. One of the biggest difference between the RB and the RZ67 is that the RB is entirely mechanical. The RZ67 relies a lot on electronics. It also have a more 80s finishing, and by that I mean plasticky. The RB67 is a beast. It's built like a tank. This one also, but with more of a plastic touch in it. But it's still a very sturdy camera, very good camera. You certainly have seen pictures taken by this camera, I mean in the press, for sure. And the most famous picture, or at least the most seen picture that was taken by such a camera, was the opening picture for Windows XP, I think. That picture here was taken by RZ67. To be honest, it could have been taken by any other camera as well. Full disclosure, my first medium format camera was a RB67, and I love that camera. And I'm a bit biased towards Mamiya camera because I love them, but I love them for good reason. They are a bit like Nikon cameras. You can tell that they are built by engineers that are into photography. Everything is well sought after. It doesn't pretend to be like luxurious. It's more like a reliable workhorse that will give you great results day in, day out. It's not supposed to look pretty, it's not supposed to be worn as some type of weird jewelry. No, it's a tool, and a brilliant tool. So, let's walk around the camera and see what we have. So, at the top here, we have a waist level finder that you can open simply like this. And if you want help with focusing, like here I've got my little subject. Focusing, by the way, is done through this knob here, and like often with Mamiya, you push the lens outwards and you have a bezel. The focusing knob is found on both sides, and should you need to block your focus in one position, you've got this little lever here. If you push it to the max, then it's locked. It can be useful if you're doing shot in a different position where gravity might push the lens back within the camera or out of the camera. So yeah, your focusing using those knobs. You have a magnifying glass if you need assistance. And that's about it. To fold the waist finder, you just press on both sides and push it like this. Okay, you can also remove it by pressing those two buttons on the side, and you can change it. There are different type of waist finder depending on what you want. You have prisms that are metal, you have chimneys that are metal. The focusing screen by default it's this one, and you can change it by simply lifting that tab here, and then you can remove it very simply. Okay, you have to take care because those are fragile, but you can have various type of viewfinder. Once again, to put the viewfinder back, you start by inserting this side and you press like this. Okay, at the front you have your lens, and the lens attachment, it's a bayonet, but it's more like a Canon way of doing things, where you have a ring that you rotate, and once you've done that, then you can remove your lens and you can change it. You can see that it's got contact here because it's got an electronic shutter. It's a leaf shutter that is within the lens, that's electronic, commanded through the camera, and lens will also communicate back aperture information. The speed is changed by this knob, and if it's locked, you unlock it by pressing that button in the middle. It goes from 400 of a second to 8 seconds, and then B pause or automatic mode. The aperture is set by the ring on the lens. On this lens it goes from 3.5 to 32. Here you have a port for a remote shutter, and that is for your flash. Other thing that you will find on that lens, I mean on any lens for this camera, is this T button. You have two positions, N for normal and T for time. This is to be used in B pose, because when you have the shutter open on this camera, it will use some energy from the battery. Mamiya put a limit on the B pose to 1 minute. So after 1 minute, it will stop, because it will consider that that's a mistake, that maybe it's in the bag, blah, blah, blah. If you want to take B pose for more than 1 minute, you need to change this button and put it into T, and in this position the camera will let you take B pose for as long as you wish. Not something you find in any other camera. And here you have your depth of field tester. Okay, if you look here, the camera is in 32 f32. If I maneuver that lever, you'll see that it closes the diaphragm. The aperture is closed down so that you can actually see your depth of field in the viewfinder when you're composing, because otherwise you're always composing your shot at full aperture. One thing to know as well about those lens is you are supposed to take them take them off the camera when they've been cranked. However, it is advised that if you are going to store the lens for a while, you should not store it cranked. I guess because that's put tension on a spring and it can in the end damage it. Okay, so in order to release the spring, you need to uncock the shutter, you need to press on that button, and then you can do this. Okay, and now you can store the lens. And to cock it back, you can put it that way. So what else do you have in front of this camera? Here you have your release button, your shutter release button, and around it you've got a collar that you must turn. If that white dot is in front of that red dot, the camera is off and will not shutter. You turn it in that position where the two white dots are aligned, and you have normal operation, if the shutter is cranked, it will work. Okay, I need to put it in. Okay, and as I mentioned, this camera relies on a battery. If for some reason you don't have a battery in the camera or your battery is flat, you can still use the camera by setting the shutter in mechanical mode. To do that, you press that little lever here and you turn that collar all the way to here where the white dot is in front of that orange one. When you do that, it will use one speed only, 1/400th of a second, and that's it. Okay, but at least you can carry on using your camera in mechanical mode. And here you have a little door for some contact for some accessories. I think it's for the motor. At the bottom, you have your tripod mount. You have some more contact. Here, it's a door that should be closed. Underneath, there is some gearing that is for the motor winder. And here, you have the trap for the battery. And the battery is an 4LR44 6-volt battery. It's a very common battery. That is actually a battery made of, as its name implies, 4LR44. However, you can't replace it by 4LR44 because they will be a tiny bit smaller. Okay. On that side here, okay, we've seen the speed setting, we've seen the focusing and the focusing lock. And here you have a hot shoe on this camera, so you can use a Mamiya flash, an electronic Mamiya flash with the camera, which is pretty good. At the back, that's where part of the magic happens. You've got here a rotating back, which means that you can turn it. One of the great improvements between the ARB and the ARZ is that this shutter here that resembles the shutter, the lever here, that resembles the one that is in the RB67. On the RB67, it will only cock up the shutter and move the mirror. On this camera, it will also advance the film, so you don't have a two operation to do it. It's all done in one go. That adds complexity. That means that if you want to rotate your back, you need to move this lever here to R for rotate, and then you can rotate your back. And then you put back on normal mode. Okay, this, what it does, when you do that, it removes the gearing, because there's a shaft that make the film advance in the back. When you cock the shutter, that shaft move forward, so it doesn't stand in the way of the back rotating. If you look through the viewfinder here, you will see that the view you have is like in portrait mode at the moment, which is indicated here. If I move it, what you see is that you have flaps that move, and now the view is like this, like landscape mode. That is very good. In the RB67, if I remember well, it was just some red marker. I find this system way better. So while we are at the back, how do you remove it? Well, you press this lever and it should be removing it. The problem is, on this camera, I don't have a dark slide, so that prevents me from removing it. I have to say, it's real pity that the previous owner have lost the dark slide, because one thing that's very good as well on this back is that here there is a place where you can put your dark slide. So normally you take it from here, put it at the back, and you don't lose it, but obviously some people do. The good news is that they have put an override. If you pull that lever here, then you can push this one there, and you can remove your back, despite not having a dark side. You need to, obviously, don't do it if you've got a film in it, but it's great that you can do it. I reviewed recently Bronica SQ, which is a great camera, but on the SQ, you cannot at all remove the back if you don't have a dark side. Or more exactly, you can, but it's a pain because you need to remove the whole film things and put a a blade at a specific place where you need to know it is. It's not supposed to be done. So what do we have here? Here we have the shaft I was talking about, and if you press here, you can see that it moves back, and there is two of those shafts and only one on the back here. So depending on how you turn it, it will go from one to another. Here you've got some electronic contact there that are doubled on the back as well. Those are, I guess, to know things like is there film and what is the sensibility of the film. You can set your sensibility of the film here by rotating this thing. It doesn't want to, but you should be able to. The back, you will open it by pushing those two things, and you have the insert and just the back like this. To load the film, the first thing you need to do is to move the spool, like on every 120 film camera. You need two spools, one with a film and one that's where the film will end up. So this is where the last film was. We need to move this spool to become the receiving spool. To do that, you press on this thing here, and you can remove the spool, and to put it on the other side, it's the same thing. You press on here, put it in place. It doesn't want to. Okay, and yeah, now it's okay. Once you've done that, you take your new film, do the same thing. You press it, put it that way in first, and then you take the paper, make it all go all the way here, and you will slide that little tongue inside the receiving spool, and then you can okay, you do that. Okay, and you advance the film until that arrow that you can see here is aligned with the arrow here at the bottom of the film, at the bottom of the back. And once it's done, you put it in here, and you don't forget to close it on both sides. And if you did not have the back on your camera, you need to put it back. So to put it back, you have several things to make sure. First, you need to make sure that your lever here wasn't moved. So you need to have round hole there. Okay, here it's round, here it isn't. And then you need to align this with one of the shaft and one of the contact with this contact. Okay, if you look at those four holes, they don't form a square, but they form a rectangle. And those four little points here form a rectangle as well. So you just put those two rectangles in the same way, and it should go easily. When I say easily, it could be easier, to be honest. Oh, don't want to align or what? There it is. Okay, here it is, and once it's done, you lock it in place by doing that. Pro tip, if you only have one back, don't remove it to change the film. You can just open it. Once it's done, you can Make sure your level here is in normal mode, and you can crank it until you have a 1 here in the little window. And now you are ready to take picture. Okay, if you see here, third picture, it tells you that you are about to take it. It's good to go. There's no red in that little window. If I shut it up, then there is a red. The third picture was taken, and you need to crank the camera again. Okay, and you do that till end. Let's do it 12 times so that we'll see how to remove the film. Sorry, not 12 times, 10 times, because it's you see, okay, I've done, and now it's good to go. So I'm just going to open the bag this time, and I can take the film holder, and here it is, my exposed films I can send for processing. Okay, there should be a little thing that you need to lick to stick, but because that film is used for test, it doesn't have it anymore. And that's it for film use. This level here is used for 3 things. That's a normal position. This R, we've seen it before, it's to be able to rotate the back, and this is to do multiple exposure on the same image. So make sure, normally it should be in this position. If there is no film, like there isn't any film at the moment here, you will not be able to use to test the shutter. If you want to test the shutter, then you need to have it in multiple exposure, and then you can play with the camera. What did I forget on this thing? I forgot one thing, interesting thing. I'm going to remove this, and you'll see here the 3 little dots. So we have 3 lights here, a red one, an orange one, and a green one. They don't give you any information about the exposure or anything like that, because by default this camera doesn't have an inbuilt meter. The first one, the red one, is used for 2 things. If it's on when you are trying to press the shutter button, it means that you have left the dark slide on. Okay, it is also used as a battery tester. If you put the dark slide on and it's when you press the shutter release button, it's a steady bright red, that means your battery is good. If it starts to flash a bit, that means the battery is on its way out and you should replace it. The second light is an orange one or amber one. This is because you forgot to crank the shutter. The third one is the green one. This one is when you use a Mamiya electronic flash. It will lit up green when the flash is ready to fire. So this is the use of those 3 idiot lights. So this is a 6x7 bag. You have some bag for this camera that are for making 6 by 4.5 negative, okay, 645 format. You have also Polaroid bag like this one that will give you a square image of 7x7, and that's about it. No, one last thing as well on that is that you can use, if you have an RB camera, you can use the RB back on the RZ camera by using an adapter. Okay, there is an adapter that will let you reuse your RB back onto this camera. So guys, that's it for today. Everything I think you need to know about this RZ64 camera. To be honest, it's a great camera. It's way more expensive than the RB67. So I'm someone who is cheap, I would rather go for the RB than the RZ for that reason. It's cheaper, it's sturdier, and this camera is, I mean, it's excellent, but it's not like way better than the RB to justify the price. However, I'm still going to take this one for a ride and put a few rolls in it and have fun before I'm selling it. I mean, if it is for sale, so if you want to buy this camera, you can. There is a link below into my website, which is www.thatfrenchblog.com, where I have this camera and many other like this for sale. So don't hesitate to check my website or my eBay shop as well. That I've put the link in the description. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and if you're here, please like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done it yet. And I will try to make many more videos like this where I explain how camera works and other types of video as well that I have planned. There is much more to go. I'm going to try to grow my channel, so stay tuned for much more exciting content. And I will see you next time.